Welcome back, everyone. So, action movies have always used violence as a tool to thrill and shock audiences. But some films take it to an entirely new level, where the carnage is as much a part of the story as the characters themselves. Hyper-stylized gun-fu or raw, visceral brutality, these movies push boundaries, painting the screen red with every fight, shootout, and explosion. Today, we're counting down the most violent action movies of the 21st century. So, let's get started. Starting strong with The Night Comes For Us, an absolute beast from Indonesia that's basically a non-stop adrenaline shot to the heart. This movie is about a former triad enforcer who's trying to leave his past violent behind, but of course, the past has other plans. What really blew me away here is the sheer brutality of the fight scenes. We're talking about hand-to-hand combat that's so visceral you can almost feel the impact. There are moments where limbs fly, bones snap, and the choreography is so tight it's like watching a deadly dance. Honestly, I had to catch my breath a few times because the action just doesn't let up. Plus, the cast brings a raw intensity that makes every fight feel personal. If you want a movie that's equal parts beautiful and savage, this one is a knockout.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it...
Next up is Upgrade, a sci-fi thriller that sneaks in some seriously brutal action under the guise of a tech revenge story. Picture this: a guy named Gray gets paralyzed in a horrifying attack, but then he's implanted with this experimental chip that turns him into a superhuman killing machine. What I love about Upgrade is how it blends smart storytelling with some of the most stylish and vicious fight scenes you'll see. The way Gray moves after the upgrade, it's like watching liquid death in motion. Smooth, precise, and deadly. The film also throws in some cool cyberpunk vibes without drowning you in confusing jargon, which is a nice bonus. Honestly, it's one of those movies that surprises you. You think it's just another revenge flick, but then it turns into this kinetic, brutal masterpiece.
Minimum freedom.
Now let's talk about Brawl and Cell Block 99. Vince Vaughn, yes, that Vince Vaughn, takes on a role that's nothing like his usual comedy gigs. He plays a former boxer turned drug courier who ends up in prison and gets dragged into a savage world of violence. This movie is grimy, gritty, and downright intense. What stuck with me was how real the violence felt. None of that Hollywood gloss. The fights are brutal, the stakes are high, and Vaughn's performance is surprisingly raw and compelling. It's the kind of movie that you're constantly on edge, wondering just how far it's going to push you. If you want a film that's equal parts brutal and emotionally gripping, this one is a hidden gem.
Get me that girl I saw. You know what to do.
Alright, now for something a little different, Mandy. Nicolas Cage goes full throttle in this psychedelic, blood-drenched revenge flick that's part horror, part action, and all kinds of wild. The visuals are absolutely stunning. Think neon reds and deep shadows, and the violence is over the top in the best way. Cage's performance is gloriously unhinged. It's like watching a man possessed by grief and rage. The vibe of this film is so unique, it's like a fever dream wrapped in chainsaws and cults. I remember watching this and thinking, okay, this is nuts, but I can't look away. If you want your action with a heavy dose of surreal madness and style, Mandy is your go overload. Now switching gears to something fresh and intense, Kill, an Indian action thriller that's basically a high-octane bloodbath set on a train. Imagine two NSG commandos trapped with knife-wielding terrorists in a claustrophobic environment. The tension here is off the charts. What really impressed me was how the movie uses the confined space to its advantage, making every fight feel urgent and brutal. The violence is relentless and the choreography is tight and vicious. It's a lean, mean thriller that keeps you guessing and on the edge of your seat. If you're looking for something that's a bit different but still packs a serious punch, Kill is definitely worth checking out. Okay, let's rewind a bit to The Raid Redemption, an Indonesian action classic that's basically a masterclass in sustained brutality. The premise is simple but effective. A SWAT team storms a building full of criminals only to get trapped and hunted. What makes this movie so special is the fight choreography. It's relentless, bone-crunching, and beautifully executed. Every punch and kick lands with real weight, and the pacing is so tight you barely get a breather. I remember watching this and thinking, how are they going to top this? It's pure adrenaline from start to finish and a must watch if you love martial arts and brutal action. Now for a throwback with a brutal twist, Rambo, 2008. Sylvester Stallone returns as the legendary one-man army, and this time the violence is darker and more graphic than ever. The film doesn't hold back. We're talking high-caliber gunfire, savage knife kills, and some seriously intense combat. It's a raw, no-frills action movie that feels like a punch to the gut. I appreciate here how the movie embraces its gritty war movie roots while delivering non-stop action. If you want old-school action with a modern edge, Rambo is your ticket. Speaking of classics, Kill Bill Volume 1 is a wild ride of stylized violence and revenge. Uma Thurman has the bride slicing through waves of enemies with her katana. Iconic. The blood is almost cartoonishly red, the fights are choreographed like dance battles, and the soundtrack? Absolute fire. It's Tarantino at his most fun, violent, and honestly, it's a blast from start to finish. I love how the movie balances its over-the-top violence with moments of dark humor and style. If you want a movie that's as much about cool visuals and music as it is about brutal action, this one is a classic. Last but not least, Tokyo Gore Police, a Japanese splatterfest that's as bizarre as it is bloody. Imagine a dystopian Tokyo where the police are as violent as the criminals they hunt, and humans mutate into weaponized monsters. This movie is pure body horror meets action. With gore that's over the top, it's almost comedic. Watching it is like stepping into a twisted carnival of violence and madness. If you want something totally out there, unapologetically brutal, and unlike anything else, Tokyo Gore Police is your cult classic. So there you have it, 10 of the most brutal, blood-pumping action movies of the 21st century that will keep you on the edge of your seat and maybe even give you a little insomnia. Which one's your favorite? Or did I miss a hidden gem? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from fellow movie maniacs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a Filmflix video. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.